The stranger in the reflection. Lena had always been fascinated by the old antique shop in town. Rumors swirled that its owner, Mr. Jenkins, had a knack for finding peculiar items with mysterious pasts. One day, while browsing through the dusty shelves, Lena stumbled upon an ornate mirror. Its surface was cloudy, with strange symbols etched into the glass. As soon as she gazed into the mirror, the fog cleared, and Lena saw a reflection that wasn't her own. A woman with piercing green eyes and raven-black hair stared back, her expression a mix of sadness and longing. Lena spun around, but there was no one else in the room. When she turned back to the mirror, the stranger's reflection was gone, replaced by her own. Intrigued, Lena purchased the mirror and took it home. But every time she looked into its depths, the stranger's reflection reappeared. They began to communicate through the mirror, exchanging whispers and glances. Lena learned that the woman's name was Elizabeth, and she had lived in the house. Lena now occupied over a century ago. As the days passed, Lena found herself drawn into Elizabeth's world. She learned about her life, her loves, and her losses. The mirror became a portal to the past, and Lena felt a deep connection to Elizabeth. But with each passing day, the lines between reality and reflection began to blur. Lena's friends and family noticed a change in her. She would stare off into space, lost in thought, and sometimes they'd catch her talking to herself. They grew concerned, but Lena couldn't explain what was happening. She felt like she was living two lives, her own and Elizabeth's. One evening, as Lena gazed into the mirror, Elizabeth's reflection began to fade. She reached out as if trying to grasp something, and her eyes locked onto Lena's. In that moment, Lena felt a jolt of recognition. She realized that Elizabeth's story wasn't just a reflection of the past. It was a reflection of herself. The mirror shattered that night, its pieces scattering across the floor. Lena stood amidst the shards, feeling a sense of loss and liberation. As she looked down at the broken glass, she saw her own reflection staring back, fragmented but whole. From that day on, Lena carried Elizabeth's story with her, weaving it into her own narrative. She understood that the past and present are intertwined, and that sometimes the reflections we see are aspects of ourselves waiting to be acknowledged. The mirror was gone, but its legacy remained, a reminder that our stories are complex, multifaceted, and forever entwined with the stories of those who came before us. The last station. The train rumbled through the desolate landscape, its cars worn and weary. Rachel stood at the door, gazing out at the endless expanse of nothingness. She had lost count of the stations they'd passed, the faces she'd seen, and the conversations she'd had. The train seemed to be heading nowhere, yet it was her home. The conductor, a gruff but kind man named Joe, checked her ticket for what felt like the 100th time. "You're a long way from home, miss," he said, his voice a gentle reminder that Rachel had been on this journey for so long. She'd forgotten what home felt like. As the train pulled into the next station, Rachel noticed something different. The platform was old, the signs were faded, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. A lone figure stood at the edge of the platform, watching the train with an intensity that made Rachel shiver. The train stopped, and the doors creaked open. Rachel felt an inexplicable pull to step off onto the platform. As she did, the train seemed to sigh, its engines dying down to a gentle hum. The figure approached her, its features indistinct, like a sketch drawn in pencil. "Welcome to the last station," it said, its voice barely above a whisper. Rachel looked around, but there was nothing to see, no buildings, no signs of life, just an endless stretch of tracks disappearing into the horizon. "What happens here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure smiled, its face still indistinct. "You get off the train. You stop moving. You stay." Rachel felt a shiver run down her spine. She had been running for so long, trying to escape the past, trying to find a place to belong. The last station seemed to be both an end and a beginning. As she stood there, the train behind her, the vast expanse ahead, Rachel realized that she had a choice. She could step back onto the train, keep moving, keep running, or she could stay, face whatever lay ahead, and find out what it meant to truly stop. The figure watched her, its eyes piercing. Rachel took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her decision settle upon her. And then, with a sense of resolve she hadn't felt in years, she stepped forward, leaving the train behind. The last station was quiet, except for the sound of the wind rustling through the tracks. Rachel stood there, feeling the stillness, feeling the weight of her choice. She knew that she would never move again, that this was where her journey ended. And in that moment she felt a sense of peace, a sense of belonging that she had never known before. The train, now empty, slowly began to move, its engines growing fainter as it disappeared into the distance. Rachel watched it go, a small smile on her face. She knew that she was home and that she would never be alone again. The Memory Merchant. In a small, winding alley nestled between ancient buildings, there was a shop with no sign, no windows, and a door that seemed to blend seamlessly into the wall. Yet people found it. They would stumble upon it in moments of desperation or curiosity, and when they pushed open the door, they would step into a world unlike any other. Inside, the shop was dimly lit, filled with rows upon rows of peculiar jars. Each jar contained a glowing, ethereal mist that swirled and pulsed with a life of its own. The shopkeeper, an enigmatic figure with eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 secrets, would greet each visitor with a knowing smile. "Welcome, seeker of memories," he would say. "I am the Memory Merchant. What is it that you wish to remember or forget?" People came to the shop for various reasons. Some sought to relive joyous moments, while others wanted to erase painful ones. The Memory Merchant would listen, his eyes glinting with understanding, and then he would reach for a jar. The mist within would respond to his touch, growing brighter or dimmer as if it were alive. The Memory Merchant gave him a jar with a dark, swirling mist. As Marcus opened it, the mist poured out, taking with it the painful memories that had haunted him for years. Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders, and a sense of peace wash over him. But the Memory Merchant's shop was not without its costs. With each memory bought or sold, a small part of the person would change. Sophia found herself holding on to the past more tightly, while Marcus struggled to recall the joy he once felt. The memories, it seemed, came with a balance sheet of their own. One day, a stranger entered the shop. He was different from the others, for he did not seek to remember or forget. Instead, he asked the Memory Merchant about the nature of memories themselves. The shopkeeper smiled, his eyes sparkling with intrigue. "Memories are not just recollections of the past," he said. "They shape us, define us, and yet they can also trap us. The question is, do you wish to be the master of your memories, or do they master you?" The stranger nodded, understanding. "I think I will just observe," he said. "I want to see how memories play out in the lives of those who come here." And so the stranger became a silent observer in the shop, watching as people bought and sold memories. Over time, he came to realize that the Memory Merchant's shop was not just a place of commerce, but a reflection of humanity itself. People were complex, multifaceted, and their memories, both cherished and painful, were a part of what made them who they were. The Memory Merchant's shop remained a secret place, hidden in plain sight. People continued to find it, seeking to alter the course of their lives through the memories they bought and sold. And the Memory Merchant, with his knowing smile and eyes that held 1,000 secrets, remained, guiding them through the labyrinth of their own minds.